There you see now how all your so-called power counts for absolutely nothing. How your entire empire of destruction comes crashing down, all because of one little cherry. One little. What a lovely ballet ensues, so full of form and colour. One little.
It is April. No, it's May. I keep saying it's April all day. It is May, and it's time for me to do another, well past time for me to do another In My 40s Diary. So In My 40s Diary is a series that I started on my channel recently. I've only made one so far, but it's just my life in my 40s, how I got here, what I'm doing, what's going on. And I see these videos made by lots of people. I've been binging Tapioca Press. I will leave her channel listed down below, but she is a 29-year-old living in Beijing, China. Well, all over China, but currently she's in Beijing, figuring out life after quitting her 9-to-5 like corporate job. I don't have that problem, but I love seeing how different people in different stages of their lives, with different trials and tribulations, with different backgrounds, with different expectations, with different ambitions, how they create the lives that they're living and how they share their ideals and their morals and their adventures and their lows and their highs and everything through these kinds of videos. So that's what I want to do for an In My 40s video and series. Because I watch a lot of these videos, I know that there's not a lot for people who are not young. And obviously YouTube is like a young person's game, but I think we can learn a lot from different experiences at every different age, and definitely as an older person, certainly an older person on YouTube. I really want to see other people my age doing things, having these experiences, sharing their time, and figuring out their lives, or not figuring it out, as the case may be sometimes. So I thought, if I see a gap, if I'm finding that I'm not seeing the creation that I want, I should be the creator that I want to see, right? So that's kind of what the idea of this 40s Diary series would be, and the idea of sharing my life a little bit more, being able to share footage other times in my life that maybe you don't see in my more like primarily book videos. And I'm still definitely primarily a booktuber, and I'm still definitely primarily going to be talking about books. I have a 40s Diary ultimate book video planned, so keep your eye out for that one. I have a previous video that kind of explains what the series will be like, and I will list that down below. But for the next video, I was really stumped. I wanted to include footage from the past that I had been working on, because I've been working on and thinking about this series since last summer. So there's some footage in that first video. I will continue to do that for some of the footage that I've gathered, but I'm hoping that this series will become a little bit more regular once I've found my feet with it, and once I'm able to make the videos a little bit more like organically, because I have struggled since I put that video out in January or February to sit down and talk to you and come up with the next video that I wanted to put out. I just finished filming my wrap-up for April, so I want to take my book stack video. I always post a book stack video every month on my Instagram. I've been behind on it, but I'm getting back on track. So if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely go over there and check my Instagram out as well. It's always listed down below, as is my Storygraph and my Goodreads and my blog, which I don't really post on anymore. So you can check it out, but there's not much to see there. I want to talk about the beginning of the year. It's just past the first quarter of the year, and I'm really trying to get back on track. I had a rough start to the year. The first 2 months and maybe even 3 months were pretty depressing. I was in a really bad place. Part of that is definitely my seasonal depression. Part of that is that we are dealing with a lot of things with the cats, and that work is changing. My work is going through a big transition right now, so I'm having to learn a lot more. I'm having to do a lot more at my job, which I'm super excited, super happy about. I definitely want to do a diary all about my work and all about my work career and my history with work and how much I love to work and what my plans are for my current work and my future. So yeah, so the first few months of the year were like really hard. The house is a complete disaster. My office / library is completely torn apart, and so today I thought while we're talking I will work on getting some of that back together, because now in the beginning of May and kind of towards the end of April, I've really started to feel back to myself, back to normal, less depressed. We did get some bad news about Flounder recently. I feel more like I can handle life. I feel less like just rotting away every day, all day long, and I feel motivated to get things done. One of the things that I definitely struggle with, especially in the winter because of seasonal depression, is motivation to clean, to organize, to get the house under control. And I think something that I want to try this year is doing like a complete house refresh. I think I want to try and take the time of like pulling all sorts of decorations down and different things down off the walls, out of different rooms, and like start fresh. I've talked about this a lot, but I am not a minimalist. We are maximalists, if anything. We are always going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of collections, a lot of things going on, projects, art projects, everything happening. But right now, it's insane in the house. So we really need to get it under control. And I think like what they say about like a cluttered life will lead to a cluttered mind, or vice versa, is definitely something that we fall victim to without realizing it. Our house is so cluttered, everything is all over the place, and the disorganization leads to depression and disorganization in our minds. So that's something that I want to work on. And I think the depression of the beginning of the year had a lot of factors, and some of it was that. Some of it was that my space is cluttered. I have fallen out of my routine. I'm very routine based, even though I don't want to be, and even though I'm not great at routine. So something that always helped me was working a job where I had a set schedule, where I went in at the same time, where I did the same things, where I had to have routine in my work schedule, and that created more routine in my life schedule. I have really struggled in this new job to create any sort of routine, and the depression of the winter and of the early spring really blew that apart. So we're working on getting that back together. Let me know if you struggle with the same things. Let me know if you struggle with creating routine for yourself or creating structure for your life, and if that impacts your mental health or how you are feeling at any given time, how you're reading. I think it affects everything. I think advice that I would give on that is to give yourself grace, is to try different methods, write yourself a big long list, use morning routines, use a habit tracker, all those things, but I don't give myself that grace a lot of times. I have been using a new habit tracker that I just made on Google Sheets, and I've really been liking that. You can see in that habit tracker like where my gaps are and where I haven't been doing good on things, or where I started out strong, maybe the first day or 2 days of that habit tracker, but then fell off almost immediately. You can see where I need improvement for sure. But I'm excited to utilize that system going forward for a little while and add things as necessary. I added or omitted things in May because I started that habit tracker really in April. So I'm excited to like have another month to try again, to think about it again and start fresh. I love a fresh start to the month. That's another good reason that this video is coming out now, or that I am filming it now, because it feels fresh, it feels new, it feels like I can get on board with the systems, routines, and feelings that I want to feel and try to continue them for the whole month and into a future month. That's kind of where I've been at. I hope that this series shows more of my life, and I stopped thinking of it as a series and I think of it more as just a day-to-day diary or progression that I get to share with you of my life and what's going on. So I have to eat lunch. I'm gonna have one of my last hyperfixation meals. This is a meal that I was eating a ton recently, but I kind of fell off eating now. But I'm gonna have another one, so I'll show that to you, and then we'll get to work probably cleaning some of this stuff, organizing. This is the chair that I sit in every day to read every morning. This is where I have my coffee in the morning. This is where I relax with the cats. So I want to make sure that this is cleaned off and cleared up, and maybe just decluttering one little area at a time will help me declutter the rest of my life and declutter my brain in the process. Okay, lunch eaten, success. That was a good meal. I still do love it. It is really delicious, but it's just not my hyper fixation. Right now, I'm hyper fixated on chocolate eclairs, but the ice cream sandwich version, like the Good Humor ice cream sandwich, not the pastry, squishy pastry one. But anyway, so I worry sometimes that these videos are going to be like very repetitive and very much about my life in the house, doing the things that I do. I work from home now. I love my home. My cats are here. My husband's here. So I try to stay in the house as much as possible. So like, I realize that I could worry about that, but also it is true. So if I'm depicting my true life and what's actually going on with it, it's going to be a lot of in the house. It's going to be a lot of me doing the things that I do all the time and going to be repetitive in some ways. And that's fine. If we're trying to have a series that depicts your true life, you can't really doctor it up too much. I do think that sometimes, especially vloggers, are trying to show how exciting things are or how fun things are, and they end up traveling a lot. I think Carrie Can Read, or Carrie Cakes, who I love to watch, has talked about this before, where she'll often force herself to do things maybe when she's not in the mood or when she's not feeling it because she wants to have good content. And I think making good content is important. Obviously the content that gets made is why you watch the person, is why you want to see their channel. You want to see what they're up to. You want to see what they're doing. But it's also nice to see their real life, to see what they're actually doing, to see what they actually do, as opposed to what they think you want to watch. So I'm relying on that, and I'm hoping that that is the case for many people watching my channel, and that they become inspired, not inspired, but find out something about my life, and maybe that helps them find something out about their life. You know, it's okay to do repetitive things that you enjoy. It's all right to have your routines for your life, and that your life doesn't always have to be like thrilling or overly exciting to be a good life. I think something that, a way that I've lived that is different than many people, is that I don't follow a lot of conventions, and I don't care really what conventions say about how my life should be, and I care more about what my life is. And I'm very lucky that I've had good fortune to have a wonderful life. Not that I don't have hardships or that I don't have things that I wish I could change, but I was thinking about this just now while I was eating, and if your life is feeling rough, if you're feeling like you have a hard time or your life is falling apart, really the only thing you can do is put it back together. So feeling like space is cluttered and it's cluttering my mind, the only thing I can really do to help that or alleviate that feeling is to declutter my space, to declutter my mind. As you can see, I didn't get a lot done. I didn't get too much done, as much as I was hoping to get done. I was in a really good mindset back at the beginning of May, and I was getting excited to get back on track. I was getting excited to, have routines again and start really working towards cleaning up and getting decluttered. And then, life happened again, which seems to be my kind of trajectory for this year, is that maybe I'm depressed, or maybe bad things are happening, and then I get a little ray of sunshine, like literally and figuratively. I start feeling a little bit better, and then something kind of comes crashing down. So unfortunately, Flounder did pass away. Her illness was really, really quick. From the time that I mentioned it, which was just a few days after we found out her diagnosis, to the time of her death was only a couple of weeks, and it was really, really difficult. And we spent those weeks really taking care of her and kind of putting everything else on the back burner, doing a lot of laundry because there was a lot of cat mess, and just sticking close to her at all times. But unfortunately, we did have to take her in, and she did pass away. So we've been processing that. Have we actually processed that? No, probably not. Have I dealt with it emotionally? No, probably not. It's hard when you have 3 other cats that you have to take care of, and those cats are not on the best terms at the moment. So we've been dealing with that, and it feels like just like a train you can't get off of. So there's no time to rest. There's no time to relax. There's no time to think about those things, which has been rough. It also means that I have not gotten a chance to get very much more decluttering done. I did finally get my desk put together. I didn't put it together. My husband put it together, which was so kind of him, so nice. So I do now have a standing desk. I am currently sitting at it, but it is going to help me a lot, I think, because 1, I can stand at it, which is great, and 2, it is decluttered, and it's gonna hopefully stay decluttered now that it's like fresh and new, at least for a little while. But also just physically, it was hard for me to sit at that other desk because it was a desk from like the 50s, and it really like squished me in, and I was always like moving my legs in a weird way, or contorting myself, or like hunching way over. So hopefully this new desk, I can sit upright, I can sit straight, I can sit back in my chair. Eventually I want to get a nice chair to go with it, but for now it's like one little bright spot in my otherwise crazy library. Same with moving my old desk into the living room. It's nice enough now that we were able to move the plants out, and that means we have a lot more space and a lot more like room to clean, because the plants get so messy, which, don't get me wrong, I love having plants in the house. They need their time outside in the summer, and then also that will allow me to clean. So I was able to clean like one little space. There's still a lot of debris and things that were either on those plant stands or in those plants or on the bookcase, which I've been revamping, that still need a home. But other than that, it is getting there, little by little. And I do, like I said earlier in this video, believe that at the moment what I really need is like a clear, clean space to clear and clean my mind. Another thing that I'm trying to do going forward is kind of plan some trips and do some local trips. I'm going to Brooklyn soon, so you'll probably see see some of that. We are taking some trips over the summer. So I think like in between those trips, juggling work, juggling the household, juggling the cats will actually be good for me. I mean, a way to enjoy and romanticize my life, yes, but also like the need to clean so that someone can come and stay with the cats, and like the kind of pressure deadline, but in a gentle way of getting stuff done, making sure the car is good before we take long car trips, you know, those kind of things I find a little bit helpful. Like that structure I find a little bit helpful. Also, my job, which has ramped up to like the nth degree, is coming to a place where it's still going to be tough, but I have a better handle on the new things that I've learned. I think that'll be good because I'll kind of stop learning stuff and be able to just do the stuff that I know and get back into a routine. March is when my job started really amping up, but in April I was like, okay, maybe I have a handle on it. And then so in the beginning of May I was feeling really good, which like you saw in the beginning of the video. And then this month has just been chaos. Home life, work life, everything. So I'm hoping that June will be a little bit more stable and I will be able to gain some routines for work as well. And now I have a nice clean workspace. I will feel better sitting here and I will be able to stand here, which is exciting. So yeah, even though I keep getting a leg up and then falling down, I do see like a potential, not end, because isn't that life? Like life is like that all the time, but a potential smoothing out, which is exactly what I need. I need a little smoothing out. I need a little routine. Thanks so much for joining me today. Let me know if anything I said resonates with you. If you have any ideas or concerns or comments that you want to leave, I would love to hear them in the comments below. I would love to hear your life and how your life is going and how our lives might align or they might be like vastly different. So let me know all that in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.